Hello and welcome to Business Matters, the show about people behind businesses that help make Tacoma a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Mike Work, and today our guest is John Dooley, who's the president of Northwest Etch Technology. Welcome, John.
Hello. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, thanks, and I'm really interested in today's show because etching, whatever you think etching is, you probably didn't imagine that it's actually about making precision parts for everything from the Apollo spaceship to little Christmas ornaments. Tell us what you do.
Well, we make what you said, precision metal parts.
Right.
We make them from very, very small things, orthodontia pins,
Wow.
all the way up to grids that go in the Air Force One, that go in the windshield.
That's the president's airplane, right?
That's the president's airplane.
So they put grids in there made of metal.
Made of metal. The pilot actually looks through the grid in the windshield.
And that's to make it stronger?
No, not to make it stronger. It's to prevent countermeasures from an electronic standpoint of enemy aircraft penetrating from an electronic countermeasure into the aircraft.
Oh, so they can't get into the electronics to hear
That's
what's
right.
going on.
That's right.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So the consistent theme of all of the things you manufacture, because you're a manufacturer,
That's right.
is thin metal.
Thin metal, and everything from a piece of foil that's thinner than your kitchen foil
Okay.
up to about 1/4 of an inch thick. And we etch that material. Etching meaning that we literally use a chemical, ferric chloride or cupric chloride, and we etch through the metal, or we half etch the metal to a very, very fine tolerance and make a part.
So you actually cut it out
Cut
in
it
some
out,
cases.
yeah.
In some cases you put designs in there that have a purpose.
That's right. We design it for someone else to their specifications. We really don't have any of our own parts.
Right.
We're making them for somebody else.
So you make parts for somebody else to put in something larger.
That's right.
And that's probably a subcontractor for somebody who's making something big, like an airplane or a
That's
big
right.
computer.
And we have oftentimes no idea what they're making.
They don't tell you.
They don't tell
So
us.
make this part.
Make this part.
And you cut it out. And this is called precision photochemical machining.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
So you use chemicals to cut the little pieces.
That's right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And what are a range of some of the products? You've got computer shields, is that right, in the computers? The cool
Electronic shields that go on a board inside a computer.
Right. Somebody has to make those.
Somebody has to make them. We make them. Ours end up really not normally in a computer, but in specialty boards because we make, I would say, small runs rather than huge runs for production pieces of PCs. We make medical parts. We make parts like when you're in a hospital room and you see the pumps that is by a patient's bedside, the electronic switch goes on that allows the fluids to come to the patient.
Okay.
We make what's called a flat spring that turns it off.
Oh, wow.
And we make, 500,000 of those a year.
So that's like a washer.
Well, no, it's a flat spring.
Okay, it's a spring.
spring.
It's a spring, okay.
Yeah, and it's flat spring, and it works and turns the switch off when the switch needs to go off.
And you have a way of machining it so it's a spring
That's
instead of
right.
a flat
That's
sheet.
right, yeah.
And then you have some seals that you make.
We have a seal that goes inside a measuring device that measures inside an oven when you heat silicon to make a chip for a computer.
Okay.
And after they've measured that, they take the measuring device apart and they throw our seal away, and then they get a new seal and assemble the device.
Good business to be in because they always need more seals.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Because they're making a lot of those things. They have to rebuild them a lot.
They were our largest customer last year.
Wow.
But it's all dependent on the ups and downs of the chip business. So when the chip business is up, our business is up in that area.
But then there's also the airplane business or the airplane window business.
Yeah, the defense side of it, it's up or down.
Okay.
And then the other part is the medical business. And so we've got 3 different businesses we're serving.
Those are the main ones.
That's the main ones. We're not in the automotive business, although some people in our industry are. And some of them were 100% in that side of the business, so they had a rough go in 2007, 8, and 9. and some of them aren't in the business anymore.
So the defense industry has been a good client because there's always defense.
There's always defense.
And computer chips aren't going anywhere.
They don't seem to be.
Medical devices, there's an ever-increasing need for.
Seems to be.
Yeah, so you've got a good range of businesses there.
Well, and one's up and the other two might be down, so our own business has been pretty well protected.
Right
We've
here in
survived.
Tacoma.
Right here in
Nally
Tacoma.
Valley, right? How big is your facility?
Yes.
How big is it?
It's 22,000 square feet.
Right, and so you have what it basically is a bunch of machines that cut the sheets to the specifications.
Well, they etch them.
Etch.
They're not cutting; they're etching.
Okay,
So,
important distinction.
It is. Because it's not doing something like laser cutting or sawing. It's actually a chemical process.
It's just very clean.
Yes.
And precise.
That's right.
Which is why you call it precision machining.
Yeah, that's correct.
So if I walk into your manufacturing floor, how many stations would I see? How many employees working on them?
About 20.
Yeah. And what other kinds of employees need to make this work?
We have one CAD employee that is actually making the tool.
And that's the computer that designs the
He's taking somebody else's design and transferring that into the tool
that will cut
that
or
will
etch.
etch the material.
I see.
And then we have another computer operator that does the inspection first time of the item when it comes off. He's operating CMM, computer measuring devices.
To make sure it meets the specs.
Meets the spec. And then we have a lot of, right now, about 8 people that are really doing the final inspection and breaking the parts out of the sheets.
Okay.
And so and some of those people use measuring machines. So and some of them use just hand calipers, pins, those type of things.
So the CAD people design the tool. The people on the machine that have the chemicals that etch do what they do.
Yeah, those are conveyorized machines.
Okay, and then they go to the people that break it out of its sheet and then it's inspected and put in a box and off.
That's right. Off it goes.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and we buy the metal basically in either sheets or 12 by 24 sheets or in coils. Comes in 100-pound boxes, 250-pound coils, and it goes out in 1-pound boxes, 5-pound boxes to our customer.
For a lot more money.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it's called a business.
That's right.
Yeah, but it provides you add tremendous value to that material. So where do they go?
Basically about 10 countries overseas and 26 states. We go any place from China, India, the Philippines, Costa Rica, Israel, Spain, and into 26 states here in the country. So
to manufacturing plants that
almost
integrate
all
into larger.
That's right. OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, basically.
So you're a subcontractor to subcontractors who work for airplane companies or defense or you name it.
Yeah, Raytheon, Hospira, Hologic, a number of different nationally known companies, and Timex in the Philippines is assembling with our parts.
So how do you do the sales component? That must be important.
It's very important. We use what's called a manufacturing rep. We contract with it. That's an independent sales rep who represents us and other manufacturers.
And they know the industry.
And they know, well, they know a segment of the industry.
Okay.
And they're calling on original equipment manufacturers, selling a line of products, including ours.
Right.
And that's how we get our sales done.
So you need to find the good manufacturer's rep who you know will represent your product well,
That's right.
and who carries projects that are complementary and will be effective.
That's right. That's right.
And do you get to know some of your clients personally?
Yes, we do. We have, in some cases, direct relationship with the client, where we've maintained a relationship that we established through direct contract, where the company came to us because of knowledge about our ability and asked us to manufacture their product.
Fascinating. All this happens right here in Tacoma.
That's right.
And because you are able to do this here, quality production, and ship it all around the country, there's no need to move anywhere.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
How long has the company been here?
Since in Tacoma since 1991. It's been in business since 1978.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So is it pretty set business, or are you looking for new markets?
Always looking for new markets and looking for new customers. Everybody does if they want to survive. So this year we will have about 250 customers. We run anywhere from about 220 to about 270 customers a year.
Wow.
We pick up anywhere from 20 to 30 customers a year off of the web page. Last year we ended up with a new customer called 212 Box, which is a advertising company literally out of New York City who does high-end storefronts.
Oh, interesting.
And they have a client that actually does women's very fancy shoes and all over the world, and their storefronts are just unbelievable.
And they found that you could provide something that looks perfect for their storefronts.
Yeah.
So John, you were the controller.
That's correct.
And at some point for this company, Northwest Etch, and at one point you had the opportunity to buy it.
That's correct.
Was it a difficult decision?
No.
Why?
Because I was excited about the business.
Why?
And I just felt it had tremendous opportunity to grow still. It was, you know, and it did. And I enjoyed working with the employees in the company. And I'd always wanted to be in manufacturing and own a part of it myself.
Right. You'd been a controller for other businesses.
I'd been with Western Plastics in Tacoma for 10 years.
Great
then
company.
I'd worked for Milgard Manufacturing for 5.
Great company.
And I'd been taught by some pretty good people. John Dimmer, Gary Milgard, and you know, well-known people here.
You're in good company.
Yeah, that's correct. So, and then I'd been out on my own for 6 years in my own business, consulting. And,
oh, that's right. Okay.
So, anyway, I felt that I had the background and knew what I needed to do to run a company.
And you knew this business inside and out as controller.
That's correct.
And so you knew it would be profitable and had a sense of where you wanted to take it.
That's correct.
It was a perfect time, good opportunity.
That's right. And I had the bank that I was banking with. They were backing me, so I really felt I had a way to go, and things would work out well, and they have. So.
Well, I'm glad that transition occurred to you in ownership, and that this company's still thriving right here in Tacoma.
Yeah. So it's working well. So.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we could talk for another 10 minutes to an hour about this. It's an amazing, interesting business. But we're out of time. So, John, thanks for being our guest today.
Appreciate it.
Next on Business Matters, we'll go to a segment of economic gardening after this break. Do you enjoy having your telephone play a favorite tune? How about selling your stuff through an online auction? These are all examples of creative business thinking that have led to successful products and services. On today's Economic Gardening, Andrew Fry not only helps us understand how to use business creativity, but how to measure it.
In business, in particular, if you're starting a business, creativity is a very important tool for you. It'll give you an advantage because you'll have an original idea. But how do you measure creativity? How do you know that you're actually being creative? There are some ways in which you can take stock of that. One way is to measure your fluency, your flexibility, and your originality. Now, fluency is just sheer number. How many ideas can you come up with in order to try and solve a problem? Flexibility is a categorization of your ideas. Are you going about this in the same manner each way, or do you have multiple ways in which you're going about this? And the third, originality, it says, how unique is my idea? Is this something that's original to me? Have other people thought of it? So how can you measure how creative you are? One way to do it is take a simple exercise and say, I've got a cardboard box. What can I do with this cardboard box? And then brainstorm. Make a long list of ideas on what you're going to do with that cardboard box. When you're done, count up your ideas. The more ideas, the better. That's a measure of your fluency. Now let's just say that in your cardboard box you said, I'm going to keep a dog in it, I'm going to keep a hamster in it, I'm going to keep a cat in it. Well, that's not very flexible. You're using it as a container for pets. But if you're saying, I'm going to use it to keep my hamster in it, I'm going to use it in order to create a bookshelf, and I'm going to use it with 2 cardboard boxes and a string to create a communication device, well, maybe not very workable, but it's at least a different category. You can use flexibility to increase your fluency. And then, of course, the originality side. When you go back through all of your ideas, which of them has creative realism? Which one is unique and original and yet has a practical side to it as well?
Thanks, Andrew, for those creative ideas. You can learn more about how to grow your business through the City of Tacoma's Economic Gardening Program. Check out their website at cityoftacoma.org/economic gardening. After this break, it's In the Spotlight, a close-up look at a unique Tacoma cafe and retailer. Don't go away. Today in the Spotlight is Native Quest.
Hi, I'm Kathy McCray-Foy, and I'm with Native Quest, a cultural center in Tacoma, Washington.
Native Quest is a meeting place with books, food, retail goods, a museum, and a lot more.
Well, Native Quest is a cultural center, and it's designed to celebrate, educate, nurture, and honor the heritage of all the urban Native Americans that are living in South Puget Sound.
The store is open to all, but it's also becoming popular in the Native American community as word spreads about a local resource that focuses on their needs.
We have over 34,000 urban Native Americans that are living in South Puget Sound. And they don't always get to go home, so we are providing a cultural center for them to feel at home, to bring healing, and to provide a message of understanding for not only Native Americans, but the rest of the community.
Native Quest is housed in a modest building not too far from the University of Washington-Tacoma campus. It's easy to reach whether you're coming through town or off the freeway.
It's here at 25th and Jefferson. It's the old Commencement Bay Coffee Company. And we are just so happy and excited to be in this historic building. It looks like a longhouse, and so these big, huge beams just bring you home to the Pacific Northwest.
What sets Native Quest apart is the large quantity of resource materials housed within the building.
As you walk in, you're going to see the largest Native American bookstore in the world. My dad and I started this in 1970 in Enumclaw, and when he passed on, I moved from Florida and reopened the store, and I did a Ken McCray. I worked for the Muckleshoot Tribal School, and all of my salary went into new books. That's what my dad did. Every time he bought a book, he found that he needed to supply a new one.
And of course, there's coffee and food. Native Quest also generates revenue through its full-service cafe.
We decided that it was very important in our cafe to not only serve espresso, but we also serve buffalo, salmon, turkey, and the Three Sisters, which is beans, squash, and corn. So we want you to have a taste, an overall feeling of when you come in, enjoying yourself.
Ambiance and activities at Native Quest are designed around the idea of an all-encompassing experience for those interested in Native American culture.
There's always something happening at Native Quest. You can buy anything that you would like that's Native made. We support our craftspeople that are Native American, and that's all we sell.
Classes happen all the time at the center, in addition to the variety of events.
We also have hands-on activities on Wednesdays.
If you want to explore Native American culture and ancestries, this is the place to go.
So we also have in this library that I'm at, not only a research center, but a genealogy and a language cultural center, so our urban natives can learn their own language.
Native Quest is a non-profit operation. Staff are dedicated volunteers.
We have 3 full-time volunteers and about 20 other volunteers that come in. And the thing of it is with volunteers, you need to treasure the time and accept when they can come in because it's their time. So there's quite a bit of difference, even though a nonprofit really is a business.
Native Quest's nonprofit operations are evolving. Their future is focused on supporting the next generation.
One of our goals is to have enough money to actually go from a volunteer status to a salaried status for many of our Native Americans. The Nisqually tribe has given us a wonderful grant, and the Stillaguamish has given us a small grant, and McCray's Indian Books and some very small donors.
Volunteers have poured a lot of sweat and passion into getting the project going. The combination library, museum, art studio, cafe, store, performance venue, and meeting area are just several months old.
And we've only been open since October 2011. We've been working really hard for 6 months before that to organize it all. So what we're doing is expanding as the need is available.
And Native Quest's future is still being written.
So I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but I can say that when someone comes in and they want something to happen, we can make it happen.
That's it for Business Matters. Join me next time for more insight into the Tacoma business scene. See you then.